Do you want? I think he is pulling in right now. But here's something that I want you to be thinking about. Because on the back of your shirts, it says something. What does it say? So, you remember when you guys filled out those webs and you were kind of brainstorming all the different things that you thought you might be a leader in? Then you had to pick one thing, and then you put that on the cover of your Time magazine. Do you remember what your one leadership gift was? Like, you have lots of them, but we asked, what do you think your biggest leadership gift is? Let's talk about that. Yes. What did you write on your Time magazine? What are you leading? What did you start with? A leader in math. A leader in being nice. That's important. Zoe. A leader in reading. Dancing. Okay. Ben. He's a leader in climbing. Yes. A leader in being nice. I like that. That's important, isn't it? Do you remember yours? Taking care of her brothers, and she has twin brothers, and their babies is a lot of work. Let me go over here for a little bit. What was your leadership gift that you said on your Time magazine? Dodgeball. Ballet. Loving animals. That's sweet. You're a leader in, did you say Wii, the video game? Okay. What did you say? Loving animals. Okay. Leader in art. Art. Reading. Break dancing. Maybe you can do that for me sometime. Loving animals. You guys gonna be veterinarians or what? Do you love animals? Or just have a lot of pets?
Big memory
Yes, good. So you need to remember that because on Tuesday, we don't have school on Monday, but on Tuesday, one of your activities for reading celebration is you're going to be making a bookmark, and it says, I'm a leader in, and you have to write that on the line. So you need to remember, and if you don't remember what you wrote, I think you can probably peek outside your classroom at the Time magazine cover that you made in art, and that is what you're going to be writing on your bookmark. And the people who do activity period with you are the ones that are going to make that bookmark with you. And if you can't remember, I think they're going to have a list of what you said to help them out. So on the second day of reading celebration, next Wednesday, we're going to have some other guest readers come and read to you. And then on Thursday, you are going to get a brand new book. That's your very own book. And then we're going to have an announcement, and I'm going to say I want everybody to drop everything and read. That means you stop what you're doing. Your teachers are going to hand out your brand new books, and you're going to get to take some time to read those books. And then on Friday, you're going to get to keep this shirt. Today, you're wearing it just for a special guest visit. But on Friday, you get to keep that shirt and take it home, wear it all day. And then sometimes we'll have announcements that will say, boys and girls, let's all wear our Leader in Me shirts tomorrow. And then you can wear your shirt to school. All right, does that sound fun? Yeah. All right, boys and girls, I'm so proud of you for being patient. And as I mentioned, I told you what our agenda is today. We're going to be meeting our special guest in a little bit, but we're going to, yes, remember? And he's going to get his turn in a little bit. We have some things that we're going to do before he speaks with us, all right? So I'm going to turn it over to Anna.
Welcome, leaders and visitors. Feel free to join in as we sing our 7 Habits song.
Easily entertaining, right?
Good morning, Palermo Elementary leaders. Because we are a leader in the school, we use the 7 habits of highly effective people to help us grow as leaders. As you know, our mission here at Palermo Elementary is to develop leaders one child at a time. We all have leadership gifts inside us. Our vision is what people should see if we are showing our leadership skills. We call them the 4 L's. They are hanging on the back wall. The 4 L's are to learn, to love, to laugh, and to leave a legacy. This means we learn by always doing our best. We show love when we care for each other. We laugh by finding the joy in life, and we work toward leaving a legacy so we will be remembered as a person who is admired and respected.
We'd like to review the 7 habits and give you an example of how they help us lead each day. Habit number 1, leaders are proactive. This means we are in charge of ourselves and we choose our actions, attitudes, and moods. I am proactive on the playground by following the rules and controlling my actions. For example, I'm sure not to jump off the slide.
Habit 2, leaders begin with the end in mind. This means we need to have a plan to meet our goals. We set and follow our schedule. I use this habit to make sure my job is done. My schedule is to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and feed my dog. Habit number 3, leaders put first things first. This means we work first, then play. I put first things first by doing my homework first, and then I play video games.
Habit number 4, think win-win. This means we believe everyone can win. We do this by being bucket fillers and looking for other alternatives to solve disagreements or problems. For example, one day when we were on the playground, my friend had flip-flops on so she could not come on the wood chips to play. We thought think win-win and decided to play a game on the grass where everyone could play.
Habit number 5, leaders seek first to understand, then to be understood. This means we listen before we talk. For example, when I am with a friend, I let him share first. If I think of something I want to say when he is talking, I do not interrupt. I listen and wait for my turn to talk.
Habit number 6, leaders synergize. This means that we believe together is better. I synergize in math class and I work with a partner.
Habit number 7, leaders sharpen the saw. This means balance feels best. We need to take care of ourselves and help others. We also need to spend time with family and friends. I sharpen the saw by exercising. I also play with my little brother. Now I'd like to introduce Ms. Scorzzelli, who is the leader of leaders.
Thank you, Noah. Boys and girls, can we give our helpers a round of applause, please? So before we got started, I asked you what you were a leader in, and Noah told you what I'm a leader in. I decided that I'm a leader of leaders because all of you are leaders and you have leadership gifts and our whole staff has leadership gifts. So that's my job, to lead a bunch of leaders, which makes it very nice for me. So as I mentioned, we've been talking a lot about what our leadership gifts are, and before we started our assembly, we were kind of reviewing those webs that you folks made, and then we transferred that over to our Time Magazine covers, and you're featured on the cover of Time Magazine for whatever you are a leader in. And today you received a very special gift, and these t-shirts that you're wearing are free from our Parent-Teacher Club. And that's a wonderful gift, and I know that we have a couple of people here that serve on our PTC, so can we give them a round of applause? And we hope that you will proudly wear your new Palermo t-shirt. As you know, on the back, it says, "Ask me what I'm a leader in." So when you're wearing that shirt, make sure you're prepared to answer that question. Some of you said that you were leaders in things like math or technology, and in order to grow in your gift, you may want to learn more about it. You can do that by reading and studying about that topic. So like when I was growing up, I thought that I had a gift in teaching. So I went to college and I studied and I became a teacher. And then I went to college again to become a principal. And every day I need to learn more and more about being a principal. So one way I do that is by reading, because reading is so important. So every year, boys and girls, we get to enjoy a reading celebration week. And this year, as we kick off our reading celebration week, which will begin tomorrow, you can start reading, so next week, our theme this year is Readers Are Leaders. And we encourage you to spend as much time as possible next week so that you can achieve our goal of reading 3,000 books. Your teachers are going to send home a packet tonight to your parents to explain the activities that we're going to do next week, along with a log to track the number of books that you read. And because we're all leaders, we know that you will use habit number 2, which is to begin with the end in mind. And you're going to set a goal for yourself this week to spend as much time as possible reading. And you could also use habit number 3, which is to put first things first and choose to read before you play. Good job. All right? So let's work together to achieve that 3,000 book total or more. See if we can surpass it. And as mentioned, we've been waiting and waiting for our special guest. Some people knew who was coming. We said someone was coming from Channel 9 News, and I've heard a few of the kids say who's coming. So how many people think that they know the name? Just raise your hand, no talking. How many people know the name of our visitor? On the count of 3, can you whisper it without scaring us? 1, 2, 3. All right. So you are going to help me then to give Dan Cummings a warm welcome. Before you give him applause, I just want to let you know that he is a leader. We were looking for a celebrity, someone who is somewhat famous. And because Mr. Cummings is on the news, and I watch him every morning, and I feel like we're best friends, we asked Mr. Cummings to be our guest leader. And we'd like him to tell us a little bit about how reading helped him to become such a good public speaker and to take his position in broadcasting and to become a news anchor in the morning on Channel 9 News. And then he's going to read us a special book. So I'm going to hand over the microphone now to Mr. Dan Cummings. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you so much. And before I tell that little story and tell this little story, I got to tell you how impressed and happy I am to be here. One, because I don't think it was any of the 7 habits, but the one you've all developed for me this morning is patience. Who was the young man who said he got up at 6 o'clock to feed his dog? Because first things first, right? And that one was making sure that you begin with the end. You want to make sure you have time to get up, feed his dog, get ready for school, and get to school. Well, Mrs. Sarah Harrington told me this was a 10 o'clock assembly. I left Syracuse, where I work and live, at 9 a.m. Plenty of time to get to Palermo Elementary School, but I took a couple of wrong turns somewhere between Fulton and Palermo, and so I apologize for making you wait a little, because an effective leader is always on time, right? So thank you very much for the patience you've shown me. And thank you even more, both the parent group, the teachers, Harrington, and your principal for letting me be part of this today, because I feel very honored to be among you. This is it may be the most special program I have ever seen in an elementary school, and I've just become acquainted with it, the leader in me. The song was great, the habits are great, and you're great. Reading, absolutely. I want to tell you something that's going to sound a little bit, for just a minute, like it's something that a leader would never do, and that would be boasting, maybe. But I want to tell you how important reading is, and why I asked if I could read something by Dr. Seuss. Because when I was in kindergarten, my school allowed me to skip first grade. You know why they allowed me to skip first grade and go right to second grade? Why do you think? Because I already knew the stuff I needed to know. I could do two things, you're right. In kindergarten, I had learned to read, and I could tell time. Now, isn't that kind of funny, because I was half an hour late here today? But, yeah, isn't it really? I could tell time and I could read, so they let me go right to second grade. And when I went up to second grade to talk to my new classmates, who were all older than me, I had to go up and read in front of them The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. How many have read The Cat in the Hat? Oh, good, I knew you had. That was a book I read out loud. So that's just a little bit of like being a proud and happy Dan Cummings from all those years ago, because reading then and reading now and for the rest of your life is going to be maybe the most important thing you do. If you learn how to love to read any book, even a little bit of news, you read your books that your mom and dad will give you or read to you, you are going to learn so much, you're going to know so much, you're going to be so curious about the things in the world around you, and you're going to be, frankly, just so smart. And leaders are smart too, because then you'll be able to tell people other stories. You'll be able to write down the stories you've read. And the more you read, and the more you like to read other people's books, you start to write more with your teachers. You're going to be able to write better and think better. And so, yeah, I guess all of that, I never stopped reading. I never stopped loving to read. And so eventually I started talking out loud. And then they put me on television. And that was a long time ago. So anyway, it's great, and the fact that I'm helping you kick off your reading week makes me feel very happy and very special, because I know how important it is, and I've already can see how important your teachers and your parents have been to all of you for bringing you together to learn and love and laugh and leave a legacy. So thanks for letting me be part of it. You want to hear Dr. Seuss? Okay. All the places you'll go. I think I'll be okay. I just want to be able to show the pictures, but you can't all see the pictures. You've seen the pictures, so you know. And if not, maybe the ones in the front row will get to see them a little better. Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. Right? Proactive. You got it. Proactive. You're the guy. Now, you'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. Do you mind? Yeah, that's great. But I got to be close enough to it to see the words. Yeah. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people and brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Yeah, that's good. We'll go over there in a minute. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers. You'll soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang, and soon you'll take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all of the rest. Let's go over here now, shall we? Gotta get you guys in. I know you guys in the back, sorry, you probably read this book years ago. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and then the chances are you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done, is it? You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right? Or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite? Or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple, it's not. I'm afraid you will find for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start into race down long wiggled roads in a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, towards a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting, waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. I need to see some back there. No, can we go to you guys are so good, you're like staring at this book, and you've probably seen it already. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and saying, oh, I'm sorry. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. Yeah, boom band. With banner flip-flopping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, this is fun to be done. There are points to be scored, there are games to be won, and the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame, you'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win because you play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. Go over here a little bit. But you will go on, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, through that hack and cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hide, and I know, hike rather, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems wherever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with great care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Oh, yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Gray, or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Isn't that a great story? I love it. You know, thanks for your patience. Thanks for your quietness. I've got to tell you, young people, this is grades pre-K, right, through 4. I don't know if I've ever experienced a more polite, attentive bunch of young leaders in my entire life in one room at once. I'm happy to be here. And I hope that you'll get on that business of doing all of those 7 habits so that when you choose to read next week, you'll do that book first, like she said, and then maybe play later. And then tell your mom and dad you want another book for later, all right? Anyway, thank you so much for letting me be part of this. This has been awesome. And the next time I come to Palermo Elementary School, I'll take a left, and then a left, and then another right. Because when the clock says 10 o'clock, that's when I'll be here. Hey, thanks a lot for letting me be part of this, and keep up the great work.
All right, boys and girls, that was very exciting. In our 8 years, in my 8 years here, I've never had a celebrity among us, so thanks so much for coming. We loved the story, and all the places we will go if we take those leadership gifts and we continue to grow in them, right? And you have to keep your eye on your goal of what you want to do and who you want to be. And earlier somebody said that they were a leader in being a good friend, and that's super important too. Because when you grow up and you get jobs, people are looking for people who can be a good friend and a kind co-worker and a hard worker that's going to put work first and then play. And all those habits are going to help you all the way up through middle school and high school and into your adult life. And I bet a lot of you are going to go to college. Every single one of you is capable of that. And that's my hope for you. So I hope that you enjoy your reading celebration, and we are going to give you permission to start reading tomorrow. All right, we have a short week next week, but you'll get your packet and you can start logging your books, and the letter explains everything to your parents of what they need to do, and then you'll bring the sheet back and show your teachers what you've been reading, and they'll keep track on little charts outside your door. And then we'll be adding up the total, and I'll make an announcement a week from Monday to let you know which class was the winner and our overall school total. All right? So with that, we're going to dismiss you, and we're going to ask for pre-K and kindergarten to exit first. And please do that quietly and politely. Thank you.
I know.